Hey everybody, what's good? Steven Silver is a character designer and YouTuber. He designed Kim Possible. I met him a few times. Once was when he was on my podcast, Sketch Zone, and another time we tabled across each other at this animation conference. So we got to hang out for a few days, and look what I got. Doop, 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 doop. There we go. To Carlos, Steven Silver. He's a really good guy, super knowledgeable about the animation industry, and extremely passionate about teaching people about the industry and animation and character design and stuff. And he's notorious for giving artists the truth. Straight, no chaser. You're going to see, like, this guy is passionate and he gives it to you like it is, right? So we're about to get into this reaction video. He's venting about AI and how AI is affecting the industry. So we're going to watch Steven give his stance on AI. I'm going to be working on this book while we listen to him. But before we get started, go to coconutjustice.com and get yourself some clothes that I think would look great on you. Let's get into it. AI in the art community is in turmoil, says Steven Silver. Let's get it, Steven.
I honestly don't know where to begin or where to start with what I want to talk about and what I want to say. And this is just a gut reaction to what's going on out there with AI.
And this is an
We are
important
at
topic. Sorry,
a
Steven.
real reflection.
So to give you my 2 cents, I've been watching so many people, so many artists talking about AI and how to leverage it and if to leverage it. We're talking about these large corporations that their main objective is to make their product as cheaply as possible. And if it's not, well, the animation industry and the music industry or the movie industry in the United States has been basically under siege. A lot of the animation work goes out of the States into India and the Philippines and stuff like that. And now even those guys are going to be threatened too because AI is cheaper, faster, and yeah, the industry is changing. We just need to figure out how, as the people who were making the product, actually making the product, not necessarily paying for it, but actually putting in the work. It seems like we are being phased out.
Right now in the history of all of this is all happening. It's going down. And
Yeah.
I guess my point is why I even want to make this video is I just don't want artists to be fooled and just feel like this is a phase. And I don't want artists to be fooled that this is going to go away.
It's not.
And I don't want artists to be fooled that studios aren't paying attention to all this stuff that's going on. And we're in a time right now, and especially with the animation industry and the guild, where we're trying to protect work from going overseas. We're trying to protect from AI coming into the studios, and it's an uphill battle. And it's a battle that the studios are resisting. Of course they are.
Yeah.
It's all about the money. It's all about what's real. And I think artists, we take pride. We've always taken pride in what we do. We work so hard. We train real hard. We want to improve our skills. We want to just get better. That's what we do, and you need to continuously do that. Never stop. Never ever stop that, because it's within us. We have to do this for ourselves, right? So you don't give up because you're just losing a battle. How can you win the war? You know, many battles are lost, but wars are won with just a lot of little mini battles, but eventually we'll get there. But it's going to be a war that we're going to win within ourselves. It's not a war. I don't think we're going to win the big war in, oh, AI is just going to die. Everyone's going to be up in arms. No one's going to be excited about it, and no one's going to show up to see it. You're fooling yourself. You're fooling yourself. We take so much pride in what we do that we believe that, oh, people, they just want to see the best top quality and this is what they want, and if they
You would
don't
think.
see it, then they're not going to want to pay to see it. That's a false narrative.
Yeah.
That is not reality.
Right.
Okay, I'm just speaking the truth here, so don't shoot the messenger. All right, that's just the reality. We've seen a lot of things that have been made and produced out there that are not the best quality, that people will pay a lot of money for, and companies will make millions of dollars of it. I mean, just even look at a show like South Park, right? It's just brilliant in its writing and what it is, but the quality of it, come on, people. It's just like,
Not to mention, they've been doing this, they, meaning the studios, have been doing this for a long time. They get an idea and then they just milk it for all it's worth. So, for example, 80s cartoon, He-Man. For as much as we liked He-Man, for as much as I liked watching He-Man, we found out later that, the storylines were kind of weak and the artwork was reused and all that stuff, which, I mean, it's your money, but people really liked He-Man. And it was on the cheap. They made it on the cheap. They wanted to have something that they could just churn out and make toys off of. He-Man was specifically created to make toys and sell toys, and so there was a level of quality that He-Man didn't achieve, I guess. So yeah, like studios are gonna studio. That's why, I got interviewed for another magazine, and I talk about how we, as the people that actually make the creative stuff, we need to create our own studios and have creative people running their own studios to tell your own stories. And like, how is it that we have so many talented creative people, but there's only a handful of studios that, one, are hiring us, two, even trying to listen to our stories? So yeah, so let's get back to it.
when you look at something like Beavis and Butthead or whatever it may be, there's shows that have been made out there and produced that are just like, it's not the draftsmanship, it's not that quality, and it just doesn't stop people. You know why? Because the audience that are majority, 99% non-artists, just don't care. They want to be entertained. We artists think everyone cares. And when you realize that the majority of the people out there just don't give a rat's ass what it looks like, but they're being entertained, they're going to pay for it. They're going to want to see it. So first things first, we got to stop ourselves convincing ourselves that AI isn't going to do some major damage out.
But that's good news for the writers and stuff, right? Things like Beavis and Butthead, things like Adventure Time, things like Gravity Falls, things like, well, Gravity Falls is kind of different, but things like Family Guy and American Dad, stuff like that, where the artwork is very, very basic. It just showcases how good writing can be. Writing can carry a show. Look at The Simpsons. The Simpsons is really cool, and I do love the artwork and stuff, but it's not the most detailed. Like anime. Anime is very detailed, and it takes them forever to make art or to make animations because it's so detailed and so well painted. But things like Simpsons and Family Guy and stuff like that really showcase writers. So there's a difference between the two, and that's on purpose. But now what's going to happen, like when you give the writing to, say, Chat GPT, and then you go to another, I think Adobe is rolling out videos that you can just, you can explain what you want in the video and it'll create the video for you. Things are going to get interesting.
And to my point where I bring this up, why I'm saying this today, is the very first AI feature was just released on YouTube. And I would
Yeah.
encourage you not to just go, screw that, I'm not going to support that, I'm not going to watch it, and just resist it and fight it. What we have to do is you got to bring awareness. You got to educate yourself. You got to know what's going out there. It's just like you cannot just look at one side of anything. It is important for everyone to look at both sides of the coin on everything. The more informed you are, the better knowledge you are, the more equipped you are, the better you're going to be able to just move forward and navigate through the weeds that are amongst us, so that you
Right.
can find a clear path for yourself and find out what's going to work for you and what direction you need to start taking and moving yourself into. Because if you don't, you're going to be left behind in the dust. And I'm not telling you, oh, go start doing AI, all that. Whatever you're going to do, you're going to do. I am never going to just, I'm not going to just knock people down for whatever their beliefs are. I don't care what you believe. I am not that sort of person. You can have your belief in whatever you want to believe, but I will never just tear someone an individual apart for whatever reason on that front. Okay, so you got to understand where I'm coming from here. What you got to understand is, as much as you don't agree with what's going on, it is happening, and it is
Right.
going to continue to happen. So you need to make some change, and I want to explain, and I'll talk to you about what those changes are and those things that you can do. All right, the very first movie was just released, feature film, 87-minute film, came out on YouTube, which is free to watch. Okay, they're going to be making
Yeah.
money
I
somehow.
watched it too.
And it's
They're
called
gonna
Where
make
the
ad
Robots
revenue
Grow. I believe that's the title. Just
where robots
look at
grow.
it and realize and watch it in awe like I did and go, holy shit. Okay, I knew
I
this was
watched it.
coming with Mid-Journey and everything. I knew this was coming. It was just a matter of time.
Right.
They
So I watched it. It was cute. I found out later that it was more geared towards children. So that's probably why I got frustrated with it, because it just, there was a story I wish it would have been more, but that's later I found out that it was a kid's story. It was meant to be a kid's story. So as a kid's story, you give it a little bit more flexibility. But yeah, the artwork was fine. The story was fine. It goes to show you that using AI and stuff, people are going to be making this stuff more often. And currently, I keep seeing YouTube videos with that robotic voice. I'm a big fan of humans. I'm team human. So I need to see, if it's going to be a reaction video, I need to see the reactor. I need to see someone. Otherwise, I almost take it as propaganda and I just turn it off. Don't, I've seen way too many people or way too many videos where the content is trying to make you think one way or the other. And unless it's someone talking, I don't trust it. So if I don't trust it, I don't spend my time on it.
film 87 minutes for $8,000 a minute to produce, which is around less than $700,000 to make an 87-minute family film. Do you think that 7-year-old kid cares who made it or what made it or why it was made? Do you think those parents who
Not at
aren't
all.
artists, who don't understand
Because
it,
what is it? I think
or do
I
that?
was watching
People
Bluey or something,
think
whatever it
that
is.
movies are just made.
It's
CG
just
movies are
crazy.
made by.
It's crazy how
And
you can get
have, and
away
all you
with
guys know who
what you
have
can
had
get away with,
conversations with
especially with
people
a
out there who are
kid's.
non-artists. Oh, I just thought like you hit buttons and it just kind of like animated it because it's CG. They have no idea the amount of work
You could
that
see
goes
him
into
get
making
ramped
these
up
films.
too. Good for you, Steven. I've been talking over Steven, but the point that I'm trying to make is when you're making content, you get away with so much just because kids, they're entertained a lot faster than adults are. And so we have these kids that we're showing all of these rudimentary images. And I say rudimentary on purpose because it's not fleshed out as much as you would if the person watching was just a little bit older. Yeah, so it doesn't take a lot. I don't see a lot of effort going into kids programming. They probably spend all of their budget on the education part, just making sure that what they're teaching is on point more than the artwork. But again, as an artist who is creating artwork for these things, what are you going to do when they don't need you anymore?
We do. They have no concept, and they don't even stay for the credits. You've all been to the movies and watched animated films. No one stays and watch the credits to see who made the film, who or the brains, the geniuses behind all of this. No one cares.
Yeah,
we want them to believe.
They look at the studio. They look at the director.
They don't even
look at voiceover
they just
talent,
started, you know, in the Oscars, putting up feature films in the Oscars. What? How many years ago? Not that many years ago.
Yeah.
Because no one cared. No one cares about the Annie Awards, right? Where in the industry, it's not even televised. It's not a thing that gets put out there. Again, no one cares. We care because we're in the industry and it's meaningful to us. And we blood, sweat, and tears. We know what it takes to produce these things. But you gotta just get out of your head thinking that you're so beyond everyone else out there and these people really care. They don't care. And this is my point to where I feel like the Animation Union should strike today. Instead of just kicking the bucket down the road. These studios aren't gonna just all of a sudden decide that, you know, we're right. There's so much talent all around the world. It's gonna eventually leave America. You know, to be honest with you, because there's so much talent with all these artists in all these other countries. There's so much brilliant talent with these artists and these other studios, and they could be these smaller studios. And these studios here know that we can pay a hell of a lot less going to these outside studios and get the exact same quality that we want. They know that. All right. So if you don't act now while you can, you're just buying time, especially towards
that part I don't fully agree with. I know a lot of people in the animation industry. I know a lot of people in the special effects industry, in the movie industry, in the gaming industry. Whenever they go overseas, it is a little bit of a hurdle, but they're figuring it out, you know. But again, it's cheaper to go somewhere and get an okay product. You could stay in the States, pay for it, and get some very passionate people to work on your project and get it done and make it look really good. But at the end of the day, people with money don't care. Like if on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say you are an animator and you're operating at a 7 or an 8, and you are making, let's just say, $100,000 a year. There's studios that'll take a 6, 5, or even a 4 for a fraction or a third of that price. And good enough is good enough. You know what I mean?
December, where the studios shut down pretty much anyway because they're not producing. It's been the history of animation. Every time I've been at a studio, they've always started. Everything slows down at this time of year. Anyway, they just... It's crazy, right? So this feature film, when you look at it and you go, good God, that film, and you just look at the credits at the end. I want you to watch the credits at the end. There's like 30 people, you know, involved in it. It seems like, not the long list, scrolling of all these lists. And the studio that did it, this is what they're doing. This is what's happening. So when a studio can make a feature film, which they will, 87 minutes, for under $700,000 and bring in 10 million, 20 million at the end, because there's going to be investors, there's going to be sponsors. Just
and those people are going to be
you have to open your eyes to this. So what does that mean for us? What does that mean for us?
For super cheap.
That means that individual artists and artist collaborators and all you artists that are in school and studying and learning, keep evolving, keep growing, but this is what you got to do. You need to collaborate. The schools themselves will need to start developing and creating their own sort of resources and ways to produce their own properties that they can own, and that just working with the students or whoever else it is and building something to where they can start creating their own content. Artists have to band together and stop waiting in line to be hired by all these other studios all the time. I was recruiting at Disney. I saw the amount of people. There'd be 2,000 portfolios for one position. Now, I'm not saying that to scare the shit out of you. I'm just saying that it's a reality that unless you start branding yourself and you start creating and thinking outside the box and creating your own and using things like Procreate Dreams or whatever else it may be to create your own content, just working with your buddies and making your own stuff and creating Kickstarters, creating your own games, creating your own whatever it is, you have to do this because it is going to be your responsibility if you want to survive and thrive in this industry, in the not just animation industry, the art industry as a whole. Not only should you be creating your own your own valuable, because the value of artwork will go up. People will want to, they're going to want to see that. That's no doubt. It's like the Renaissance. We're going back to that. They're going to look at original art, and that's going to be a commodity, and there's going to have value in that. All right, in these creator hand drawn stuff, right? When everything else is AI, which is going to be,
it's just right.
on every industry. When all of a sudden it's just hand drawn, hand created, there's going to be something unique about.
There's a market there. There's always been a market there. Everyone is just ignoring that market. In business, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if you can do it in AI or not. If you can draw and animate in a hand-rendered style, you can create your own market. You don't need to do this AI stuff. And what sucks is the people that don't make anything, the people that don't do anything, the people that take advantage of you as an artist, those people with the money that are taking advantage of you, they don't make anything. So that's why I'm not 100% sure why people keep going to studios to try to make a living when you're just signing over your soul to folks that don't care. Take a look at this video from this banquet of rich people. Take a look.
Thank you. Good evening, rich people. Welcome, Your Eminence, President Trump, First Lady, random millionaires who are not yet billionaires. As you can see how we're dressed, the theme again is let them eat cake. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't address the elephant in the room. You know, you're all thinking about it. Let me just cut to the point and point out who's not here. And of course, I'm talking about the middle class. That filthy group of people. Right, Chuck? Do you know what I'm talking about?
So yeah, you think all of those millionaires and billionaires care about your well-being? They're always going to come up with an excuse why someone can work for cheaper, or what they do. I've seen this, even if you're not in the creative industry, even if you're just a normal office worker, say a clerk or something like that, what they end up doing is if there's 3 of you doing 3 jobs, they'll lay off 2 of you. And then they just kind of convince that last person that you're lucky that you have a job. You need to do the work of 3 people. All of us know that person. And if you don't know that person, ask around your friends and your friends' parents and stuff like that. See how that goes over. Like, it's not rocket science. They're not here to, the people with the money that are making these shows, I can't say all of them, but for the most part, like, you can focus on quality, but at the end of the day, your quality is going to be dictated by how much money you have. Let's get back to it. Come on, Steve.
To have its own class. It's going to be its own separate thing, you know, that's going to happen. And so don't run away. Don't run with your hands up screaming and scared. But what you got to do is make the choice to say that I got to start getting a business head on my shoulders. I got to
100%.
start thinking about that. I got to start studying that. I need to
100%.
start doing that. That's something that I do at my Silver Drawing Academy is I thrive in teaching and sharing business because you have to, the mindset of this is so vital that you need to start saying to yourself, I know I'm an artist and I know maybe it's something that I've never been taught. Schools don't teach it. People don't share this knowledge. People don't tell you how this is the way it's always been. You're working in studios and you're going to just be working on their show for a few months, maybe a year, and then you're off looking for the next job. This is just the way that it's always been. It's going to continue to be that way. But taking it to that next step, because mark my words, this first movie that was created all through AI is going to get to the point where investors are going to go, yep, sign me up. Please don't think the major studios aren't going to do it. The way that with negotiations of what the Animation Guild is going through, I personally feel like, these guys are doing their best and they're showing up and they're just trying to hammer them. But I'm telling you who you're dealing with. You have to follow. And I know there's that argument and a lot of people upset with the AI. But the quality, the level's going to start going down a bit. We're going to see that. But what's going to happen is even though you disapprove of what AI is doing, don't put your head in the sand and just voice and just write all your posts about it and I'm so upset and blah 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 blah. You can do that all day until you're blue in the face, and Nobody cares. Do that all day, but nothing's gonna change that unless you are actually doing something and bringing yourself awareness about it. You gotta look at it. You gotta see what's happening out there. There's going to be studios who their requirement, and I've already seen it on their job applications, are going to be knowledge of AI tools in order to get a job. Right. So the artist that's developing their skill set and has dove into that space just to learn about it, and if they want to make a living, at some point you're going to go, I got to feed my family. And it's going to get to that point again. Don't shoot the messenger. I don't want to hear all the comments that go, I support AI. Steven Silver, he supports AI. No, that's not what I'm saying. And I hope you're not missing the message of what I'm saying. I'm saying open your eyes. Make sure that you become really clear on what's going out there. Keep you just dive in, just learn, see what's going on, and make sure that you are going to start building your own brands, formulating a team with your own friends. I meet a lot of artists today, to be honest with you, that have left the animation industry, that aren't even working in that industry because they're making more money selling their own individual products at conventions and street fairs and galleries. Don't neglect what is going on out there. Don't bury your head in the sand. Stop just poo-pooing it, but research and learn about it. Educate yourself. It's just like there's two sides to every coin. You got to look at what's going on. I know artists that are making, again, and I'm not going to slam artists who have decided to make a living using AI, but there are, and I know some people, and they're using AI and they're making a great living doing it because they realize that AI can do this and there's an audience for it, right? So do what you got to do. Don't trash and belittle and hate other people for what their beliefs are. Remember, the very first AI feature film was just released on YouTube for free, and there's not going to be one kid or one parent who is going to complain and boycott it. They're going to watch it because it's going to entertain their family, and that's what it all comes down to, is entertainment. That was my rant. Take it for what it is. Hopefully there's no haters that come on and start. Don't try to attack me. I'm simply a messenger. And hopefully you're thankful for that I'm spreading this and not hiding it. all right? Because we need people to spread the message about things that are happening out there in whatever way we can. All right, make it a great day, make it a great week, and share this. You do your part, share it. See what happens out there. Again, bring that awareness. All right, take care.
Yep, so that was Steven Silver preaching. Why is it that when it comes to the American worker, we have to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, but these corporations are out here, you know, getting subsidized? Corn makers, junk food makers, all these people are getting money to stay afloat. But those people have a problem when we run out of money or we run out of work. We need help. They have an issue, but yet, you know, look at 2008, was it, when all the banks got bailed out? The auto workers got not the auto workers, but the auto industry got bailed out. All these corporations, they bend over backwards to make sure that these corporations don't go anywhere, and then they end up farming out their work to Mexico, to India, to the Philippines. So that's the state of the union for the creative industry. You're hearing it from people like Steven Silver, and Steven Silver is not one to be shy about calling people out for silly things that they're doing. And this is what's happening in real life. It's almost every time I call friends in Hollywood, it's almost like this other person just moved out, or this other person couldn't find work, so they move on. You got to take care of yourself. And that's what I'm saying. I'm glad that Steven wrapped up his video by saying that, to make sure that you understand what's happening. This is an attack on our livelihoods and what we like to do, but we need to realize that we don't need the big studios. The big studios, sure, they have more money than God, but they're not giving it to you. Save up your money and work with friends and work on your own ideas. And if you are say a concept artist or an animator, whatever, get out there and make friends with people that might fill the gap in a small studio, and then go out there and do your own thing. Put it out on Vimeo, YouTube. There's so many things. So many people are working on things and putting it even out on like Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that. Depending on what it is that you're trying to make. You know, there's sketch writers, there's comedians out there. They put their stuff out on Instagram all the time. You see it on social media, and they find their own little rhythm, and they find their momentum, and then they find their audience. And once you find your audience, like, tell the studios to kick rocks. Enough is enough. Anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it with each and every one of your friends, especially if they're in the creative industry. Let them see this video. I'm going to leave a link to Steven Silver's video so you can watch the whole thing and even just take a look at his whole channel. Subscribe to him because, like I said, he's amazing. I love that dude. But anyway, I'm going to leave a link to his video so you can check that out. But share this video with all of your friends. And if you want to come and hang out with me while we watch videos like this and I work on creative projects, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that, you'll see a little bell button. If you click on that, every time I come out with something new, you'll be alerted. Don't forget to go to coconutjustice.com and get yourself some cool t-shirts and hats and stuff like that. And with that, I'm out.